Zoom over here, and we should be on YouTube. All right, so everybody, yes, okay, so everybody, to keep your privacy, if you want to, you'll want to rename yourselves inside of Zoom. So if you were to ask any questions inside of the Zoom chat, then I won't be using your real names because what I say is going to be going up on YouTube. So you can go ahead and rename yourselves to something else. Then when you are asking your questions, I can refer to you as something else. All right. So let's start the session. Okay. So if anybody has any trouble or any questions about anything that we're doing, please type in the chat in the Zoom chat box, and then I'll try to answer your questions as soon as I can. Okay, so first of all, my name is Kevin, but I also go by the Shy Hat online, and I run a program called Hacker Frogs. So we're going to be talking a little bit about Hacker Frogs, and then we're going to what is the YouTube channel name? All right, so I can provide you with a link to the YouTube channel name. So let me just grab a link, and I'll provide it in the Zoom chat, and you can take a look at it from there. All right, so what were we talking about? We were talking about Hacker Frogs, right? So Hacker Frogs After School is a cybersecurity program for learning beginners cybersecurity skills across a wide variety of subjects. This is the intro to Linux OS operations. So you might be asking yourselves, what is Linux? And that's a very important question. So Linux is an operating system. It's a computer operating system. Like Windows is an operating system and Mac OS is an operating system. Well, however, unlike Windows and Mac OS, Linux is free and open source, which means its source code can be viewed and potentially modified by anybody. So what does that mean? So Linux is also a modular OS operating system, which means that software components can be very easily added, updated, or removed to fit the user's needs. So what we can understand here is that Linux is very customizable. So you can make your Linux OS for whatever purpose you want it to do. So this has led to the development of different distributions, otherwise known as variations of Linux, that cater to different groups of users. So specifically, cybersecurity-oriented distributions of Linux exist, which are ideal for cybersecurity student use. And this is one of the major reasons we use Linux inside of the cybersecurity community. So why do we learn Linux for cybersecurity? So first of all, Linux is easily accessible to students since it's free. Also, many cybersecurity tools and software are available to Linux users, most of which are free. And cybersecurity-oriented distributions of Linux are readily available. So for all these reasons, we like to learn Linux when we're starting our cybersecurity journey. And we also do a lot with CTFs. So you might be asking yourselves, what's a CTF? Hacker Frogs after-school classes prefer to incorporate CTF games into classes for a more interactive experience, but what are CTFs? So we're talking about CTFs. It stands for Capture the Flag games. So cybersecurity capture the flag games, also called CTFs, they're training exercises where the goal of the exercise is to capture the flag through the use of cybersecurity skills. So you use your cybersecurity skills and you capture the flag using your skills. So in this context, capture means to gain access to a file or other resource, and flag refers to a secret phrase or password. So when you get the flag, you're going to see some sort of secret phrase or password, and that's the proof that you solved the CTF challenge. So the CTF game we're going to be playing to learn basic Linux skills is called Bandit, which is hosted on the over-the-wire CTF network. The over-the-wire network hosts several different CTF games. So the Bandit CTF game is made up of many levels of increasing difficulties. So when you think of any kind of game or video game, computer game, they've got different levels, and usually the levels The higher levels are more difficult than the lower levels, and we're going to be going through this kind of CTF game in order to learn the different Linux commands for our workshops. Okay, so we're going to start connecting to the Bandit CTF server, but we're going to have to do the following 2 tasks. So the first thing we need to do is we need to start a computer, we need to start a command line interface, otherwise called a CLI, on our computer. And number 2, using the CLI program, the CLI terminal, we're going to connect to the Bandit CTF server using the SSH program. So first we're going to open up a command line terminal on our computer, and then we're going to connect to the Bandit game using the SSH program. Okay, but before that, what is a command line interface? So the command line interface, also called the CLI, is a text-only method of executing commands on the computer. All major operating systems allow users to interact with the system using a CLI interface, even if the primary interface on the OS uses a graphic user interface. So you can see that Windows over here is a graphic user interface, but what we're going to be doing is we're going to be opening up our terminals to start a CLI interface. All right, so another thing we're going to do is we're going to use the SSH program. So the SSH program, this is called Secure Shell, and it's a program that's used to log in and interact with remote servers, which is other computers on the network. So basically, anytime you connect to another computer on the internet, you're connecting to a remote server. Okay, so let's start our first exercise. And that's going to be logging into our terminal. So everybody, let's do this together. One more time. So if everybody in the call can type in the chat what kind of computer you're using. If you're using Windows, please type Windows, and if you're using Mac, please type Mac. And if you're using something else, please type whatever other device you're using right now. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about how to access the terminal using Windows. So if you're using Windows, okay, so I see some people are saying Acer, I see some people are using Dell. So Acer and Dell are both different types of Windows computers. So if you're using those, you can use the Windows method of opening up the terminal. So in Windows, you can type CMD into the search field beside the desktop start button. Okay, so if you're using Windows and you're using Windows 11 or Windows 10, there's going to be a search field over here. What you want to do is you want to click on that, and then you want to click on you want to type the word CMD. So type CMD into your search field, and the best match is going to be this right here. It's going to say command prompt, and you want to click on that. So after you click on command prompt, then it's going to open up a window just like this, and this is what we want. Okay, so if you manage to successfully open up the command prompt on your Windows machine, please type command in the chat. So if you manage to open up the command prompt, please type command. So I see some people typing command. All right, good. Okay, so for the people who are using Mac systems, I'll teach you how to open up the terminal inside of Mac. So inside of Mac OS, you're going to use the command and space shortcut to open up the Spotlight search. So there's the command button and the space bar. So you do that, and it's going to open up this Spotlight search right here. So command button and space, and inside of the Spotlight search, you're going to type in the word terminal. So you type in the word terminal, and then you hit enter to open up the terminal application. And when you open up the terminal application, there's going to be a screen that doesn't look quite like this, but it's also going to be something that has a bunch of text over here, and you can type in text in the screen. So if you manage to, okay, I see somebody asking, what do we do when we see the command prompt? So in the search bar, after you type in CMD, you want to click on the command prompt app over here, and that's going to open up the command prompt. So over here, we just want to make sure that you have the command prompt open, and then we can move on to the next step. So if anybody here does not know how to open up the command prompt on their computer, please type in the chat and let us know that you're having problems. Otherwise, we're going to be starting the next steps in just a few moments. Okay, so let's move on. Okay. So one person says they're having problems. So to this person, I'm asking what kind of computer are you using? Are you using a Windows computer or a Mac computer? Another person also says it's not popping up. This person as well. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to go down to the search bar and then type in CMD and then click on the command prompt button over here. So to these two people, are you able to open up the command prompt? Okay, so I have a solution to people who aren't able to open up the command prompt. You can also use an online version of Linux, and this online version of Linux you can access from this link right here. So I'm going to provide the link in chat. So to the people who are having problems opening up their command prompt, I've provided a link in the chat, and you can click on that link and open up this web version of Linux over here. So this web version of Linux works just like the regular version of the command prompt, and you should be able to follow along using the one in the on the web. Okay. All right. So everybody, let's start. So where were we? Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to use the SSH program, which is called Secure Shell, to connect and log into the Bandit CTF server. So to use SSH, we're going to need to use the username and server information, and we're going to get the information from the Bandit CTF homepage. So I'm going to look that up right now. Bandit over the wire. And it's just over here. If you guys want to take a look at the information for the Bandit, let's see. Somebody's saying that they don't see the link. They don't see the link. Okay, so I'm going to... Okay, wait. I'm going to send the link again. It seems that my settings were a bit off. Okay. I'm sending the link to the web version of Linux, and I think you should be able to see it now. Okay, so okay, you can see the link now. Okay, great. Okay, so we're going to move on. And we're going to take a look at the information at the Bandit CTF homepage. So let's look at this together. So Bandit is a CTF game, and it says here that the Bandit war game is aimed at absolute beginners. It will teach the basics needed to be able to play other war games. So over here, the important thing is that they provide you with the level for the first level of the game. I see a question. If I have CMD, do I need to use the web version? If you have CMD, you don't need to use the web version. You can use the web version, but you don't need to. Okay, so we're going to log into Bandit level 0, and we're going to use the username Bandit 0 and the password Bandit 0. And then once we're logged in, we're going to try to get the flag that is the goal for this level. All right, so let's take a look at the So we're going to use the following command to log in with SSH. So the first part is the command SSH, and then you'll see Bandit 0. This is going to be the user account on the server that we're going to log into. And then there's an @ symbol, which means at this particular server. There's going to be bandit.labs.overthewire.org. That's the server address. And then we're going to log in on a specific networking port. You can think of a networking port kind of like a room in the house. It's just a part of the server that you're communicating on. So I'm going to copy this command right here, and what you're going to do is you're going to use this command inside of your command prompt. So I'm going to copy this, and then I'm going to provide the command in the chat to everybody. So you can go ahead and use that command, but if you want, you can also just type it in. So what we're going to do is we're going to do SSH, and it's going to be Bandit 0. That's the name of the user that we're going to log in as. And then we're going to use the @ symbol. So just like email, we're using the @ symbol, and it's going to be labs, well, Bandit. Bandit.labs.overthewire.org. And then after that, we're going to put in -p. And on YouTube, I see Adiovox. Adiovox, hey, nice to see you here. Okay, and it's -p, and then we're going to do 2220, and this is going to let us log into the Bandit server so we can play the game. Okay, so please type in this command into your command prompt window, or if you're using the web version, type it into the web version, and then hit the enter key. And then it's going to ask you if you want to continue connecting. We're going to type in the word yes, and then press enter. And then it's going to ask us for the password. So it's going to ask for the password. The password is Bandit 0. So type in Bandit 0 into your terminal, and then press enter. When you type in the password, you're not going to see any output from the terminal. That's fine. So it's just going to stay blank while you type in the password, and then you hit enter, and then you're going to be logged in. Okay, so let's see. Is there space after the periods? Is there space after the periods? Let me see. No, there's no space after these periods. So when you're typing in the URL or the server name, bandit.labs.overthewire.org, there's no spaces. There's no spaces there. Okay, so everybody, if you manage to, somebody says they can't get it to work. All right, so what was the password again? The password is Bandit 0. So I'm going to, so Bandit 0, this is the, so if you're having trouble with the command, what you can do is you can, I left the command for, I left the SSH command in the chat, so you can go ahead and just copy that. So highlight it and then hit Control-C to copy it. And then you can go ahead, maybe I'm going to demonstrate on the JS Linux over here. Over here, you can, after you've copied it, you can right click, and then you can hit the paste button. And that's going to paste in the command over here. So let's take a look at the messages. Okay, somebody says they can't copy from Zoom. So let me take a look. So you can't copy from Zoom using the, by right-clicking on it, but what you can do is you can use the keyboard shortcut. So it's Control-C on Windows to copy. And I'm not sure what the command is on Mac to copy. What is the keyboard shortcut to copy on Mac? So that would be Command-C. So you highlight it and then use Command-C. Okay. All right, so how many? So somebody else says it's not letting me type in the password. So when you type in the password, you're not going to see anything on the screen. So I'm going to demonstrate. So after you put in this command over here, okay, it says temporary failure. That's unfortunate. Okay, I was able to do this before. I'm sorry about this. Okay, so somebody says they can't highlight the message on Zoom. So you should be able to click into the message and then highlight it. And then from there, after you've highlighted it, you should be able to do Control-C. But you say that you can't. So it's Command-C on Mac, and so So to Yo-Yo, I'm asking which part is not working for you? Which step? The first step. I forgot to add the SSH. Okay, so please, I'm gonna log out and then I'm gonna illustrate logging in again. So you do SSH bandit at bandit.labs.overthewire.org -p 2220. The password is bandit0. I'm going to type in the password bandit0 for everybody to look at. Okay. So after you've typed in all of the whole command over here, it's going to ask for the password. When you type the password, you're not going to see anything happen. So you just need to type the password, bandit0, and all this time, this is going to remain blank, so you don't know that you're typing anything, but this is normal behavior. So you just need to hit the enter key, and then you will be logged in. So somebody says that they can't type the password. So when you type the password, you're not going to see anything appear, but it's still going to be typed in. Okay, so sometimes some people have their caps lock on. If you take a look, if you're having trouble logging in, you can try to make sure that your caps lock is not on. But I'm going to demonstrate one more time how to log in. So you need to type SSH space bandit0 at bandit.labs.overthewire.org space -p space 2220. And somebody is just joining. What you need to do is you need to open up a command prompt on your computer. So after you hit this, after you type this in, press enter, and then you're going to come up to the screen. If it asks you if you want to continue connecting, type yes, Y-E-S, and then hit enter, and then it's going to ask you for the password, and the password is bandit0. When you type bandit0, you're not going to see anything appear on the screen, and that's normal. So just type bandit0 and then hit enter, and you should be logged in now. And you'll know that you logged in when on the screen it says bandit0 at bandit on your screen. So one more time, to everybody who has successfully logged in, please type I'm in the chat. Okay, I see somebody says it says permission denied. It's not letting me finish typing it in. So to the people who are having troubles right now, we're going to try to help you out after we finish the first level. So I'm going to keep I'm gonna keep you two in mind, and then I'll move on. I'll try to catch you two up after we finish the first level. Okay, so we're going to start our exercise now. All right, so when you're inside of the terminal, the first thing you want to do is you want to see what's inside of your directory. So the command to take a look at what the current directory is this command right here, pwd. And that's going to let you see what the name of the directory you're in is. So when you type pwd, you hit enter, and then it's going to say that you're at /home/bandit0. That's the name of the directory. Somebody else says, mine isn't letting me because it says SHH is not recognized. So the command is not SHH, it's SSH. So to the user who is having trouble, the command is SSH, not SHH. All right, so pwd is going to let you see what the name of the directory you're in is. If you ever want to go back up to the top of the terminal, you want to use the clear command. So just type in clear and then hit enter, and it's going to bring you back up to the top. And if you want to take a look at what is inside of this directory, you use the ls command. So ls stands for list. So ls is going to let you know what's inside of the directory here. So somebody's asking for help. So to everybody who's having trouble logging in, the password is bandit0. All right. So after we type ls, it says that there is a readme file in this directory. So does anybody? Somebody else says could not resolve. Somebody says temporary failure. Okay, so if you're working from the JS Linux, you might have some problems logging in. Let me see if we can get a new web Linux for everybody to try. So maybe we'll try this one. So okay, somebody says mine works. So to the person who said mine works, are you using the web version, the web Linux, or are you using the command line? Oh, okay, you're using Mac OS. Okay, all right, so let's, okay, to the people who are having trouble using the web Linux, please try this new link for the web Linux. Because this one seems to be working now. This one seems to be working, maybe the other one wasn't working. Okay. So let's finish the first level for everybody else. So to everybody else, if you type ls, that's going to let you see the contents of the directory. And there's a readme file in here. And the way you read files inside of Linux is by using the cat command. So it sounds a little bit funny. We use the cat command, but we use cat, and then we type the name of the file that we want to read. And so this is the readme file, so it's cat readme. So after you're logged in, you see bandit0 at bandit, type cat readme, and that's going to read the file that's in the same directory as you. And then it says the password you were looking for is this. So this is a really long password, and this is what we use to make sure that we're not guessing passwords. So you can copy this password by highlighting it. So highlight the password and then hit the Control C or Command C to copy it, and we're going to log out. Okay, and to log out of the Bandit game, all you need to do is use the exit command. So you type exit, and then we're now logged out. So you'll know that you're logged out. It says the connection is closed, and you no longer see Bandit 0 at Bandit anymore. Instead, you see something else. So in my case, it says this. In your case, it might say something else. All right, so everybody, if you manage to finish the first level of Bandit by reading the file using the cat readme command, please type bandit 0 done in the chat. Okay, so that was so we used a couple of commands. We used the ls command to see what was inside the directory, and we also used the cat command to read the file. So cat is used with whatever, so it's cat and then whatever file you want to read. And let's move on to the next level. All right, so everybody, let's when inside the terminal here, you can recall the last command that you used with the up arrow key. So you can hit the up arrow key, and that's going to bring up the last command you used. So in our case, it's going to be the SSH command that we used. We can modify this command. So you can use the arrow keys to move around inside of. So somebody is stuck. I will address you in just a little bit. So what we can do is we can log into Bandit level 1. Okay, so to log into Bandit level 1, we can modify this SSH command, and it's not going to be Bandit 0, it's going to be Bandit 1. So just delete the 0 and then add 1, and then we're going to issue the same command, only this time it's Bandit 1 at bandit.labs.overthewire.org. So you send that command, and then it's going to ask for the password. So we just got the password, and to anybody who doesn't have the password, I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay, so if you want to paste in the password, all you need to do is first of all just copy the password. Whoops, copy the password over here, and then paste in the password with Control V. So it's Control V to paste in the password. Sometimes you need to use Control Shift V or Command Shift V to paste in the password, and then hit the Enter key. And then you should be logged in. So if you manage to log into Bandit 1, please type Bandit 1 in chat. Okay, so to the people who are stuck, I see a few people are stuck. So why don't you try using this version of the web Linux. So I'm going to provide the link to the other version of web Linux that you can use. So go ahead and use that link to get to the web Linux. Do I use SSH? After you've arrived at after you are at your Linux console, go ahead and use the SSH command. And I'll type the SSH command in the chat for everybody. So it's SSH, and then it's going to be Bandit 0 at bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and then it's going to be -p and 2220. Okay, somebody says permission denied and asks for the public key password. Okay, all right, so the password isn't working. So to the people who are trying to log in, who are trying to log into Bandit 1, please use the password that I'm going to provide to the chat. Hold on. Let me grab that password one more time. So everybody, so the password, you definitely want to copy the password and not try to type it. Somebody says subscribe. The Nicole AJ just subscribed. Thank you very much. So you definitely want to paste in the password. The username is for Bandit level 0. The username is Bandit 0. For Bandit 1, the username is Bandit 1. Okay, so let me. So to the people who are lost, I'm going to demonstrate on the. Demonstrate on the JS Linux website one more time. Okay. So if you're on the JS Linux website, you can access the terminal here. And after you have arrived and you see the blinking green square, you do SSH and then bandit 0 and then @ and then bandit.labs.overthewire.org, and then you do -p and then 222.2220. So make sure that everything is correct and that nothing is misspelled. So bandit 0, bandit.labs.overthewire.org. Okay, and then you will hit enter. And it says could not resolve, name does not resolve. Okay, so we're having some trouble with the web version. It was working just a minute ago, but okay. So sometimes it will say name does not resolve. Try again in a minute or so, and then it should be okay. So the connection from this website is not very good. Okay, so if it asks, are you sure you want to continue connecting? You answer yes, and hit enter. And then it's going to ask you for the password for Bandit 0. So the password for Bandit 0 is Bandit 0. When you type Bandit 0, you're not going to see anything appear on the screen, and that's normal. And then you hit enter, and then you'll be logged in. It says Bandit 0 at Bandit. All right, so I hope you're able to log in as Bandit 0. But we're going to go over for everybody who is on Bandit level 1, we're going to go over how to do Bandit level 1. Somebody asks, are you supposed to see the password when putting in for Bandit 1? No, you're not going to see the password when you're putting it in for Bandit 1. So let me demonstrate Bandit 1 one more time. So we need to make sure we have our password. The first thing you need to do is you need to copy the password. So if you don't have the password copied, it keeps on saying could not resolve. Okay, so could not resolve. What you want to do is you want to wait maybe 5 seconds or 10 seconds and try again. So you're going to copy this, and then I'm going to exit. I'm going to, so you can use the up and down arrow keys to put in previous commands. What you need to do is you need to just edit this. You need to use the arrow keys to move around. You can edit the number here. So from Bandit, it's going to be Bandit 0 at first. You want to make sure it's Bandit 1. And then you want to hit enter. And then it's going to ask for the password. If you have the password copied, you can use the Control-Shift-V or Command-Shift-V to paste in the password. And then you can hit enter. And then you're going to be logged in. Okay, so I see some people still need some assistance. I'll try to get to you after we solve this this next level. Okay, so everybody, the next level, we're going to type ls to see what's inside this directory, and we can see that this is there's a file in here that is just labeled the minus sign or the dash or the hyphen. Can you please? Is it normal for it to be saying localhost? Localhost, if you're in the web version of... So I've just provided the password for Bandit level 1 to the people who need it. So somebody asked, is it normal for it to say localhost? Yeah, it's if you're on the web version of Linux, it's normal for it to say localhost over there. But localhost means you're not logged into Bandit level 1. Or Bandit level 0, or Bandit for that matter. Okay, so if so I'm going to clear and I'm going to ls. So ls is going to let us see what's inside this directory, and it says that there's the minus sign. So this is the name of the file. The name of the file is minus. So, but if we try to use the cat command to read this, cat minus sign, we're not going to be able to read it, and we're going to be stuck. So if you're ever stuck inside of the Linux command terminal, you just need to use the Control-C or Command-C keyboard shortcut, and then you're going to get out of there. Somebody still says permission denied. So permission denied. You can try. So sometimes it's going to say permission denied because the connection is not very good. Please try again in a few seconds. Maybe wait about 10 seconds and then try the command again. So this also happens to me over here when I try to log in. So if I try to log in, it works, but for some other people, don't know yet how to log into Bandit level 0. Okay, so so after class, we'll come to you individually, and we'll try to figure out what's wrong. But for everybody else, we're gonna finish solving the level over here. So the minus sign, we can't. So in the case that there's a special character used as the name of a file, and this is not something you're supposed to do. What you're supposed to do is you're supposed to do cat, and then you're supposed to refer to the current directory. And the current directory in Linux, you can refer to it by /. // means this directory in Linux. Okay, so / and then minus. So / minus means this current directory and the minus file. So if you were to give this command, then you're able to read the password from this file. But if you were to just do cat minus, it's not going to work. And you have to use the Control-C or Command-C keyboard shortcut to get out of there. Okay, so, all right, so in this case, you just need to use the cat command, but you also need to use the // to refer to this directory and then give the minus name. And then you're able to read the password. So this is the password for Bandit level 2. So if you manage to read the file, please type cat the dash in chat. Cat the dash. Okay. All right, some people are managing to complete the level. Okay. So to the people who are currently stuck, after the class is over, I'll come back to you, and then we'll try to figure out the problem together, okay? All right, so after we've gotten the password, we need to copy the password. So we're going to copy the password, Control-Shift-C to copy the password, and then we're going to exit out of the server. So we need to make sure that we exit each time. So give the exit command, and then it's going to say connection to bandit.labs over with wire closed. And then we're going to log into the next level. So before you log into the next level, make sure that you've copied this. So it's Control Shift C to copy it, or Command Shift C. And then to paste it in, it's Control Shift V to paste it in. Okay, so let's log into the next level. The next level is going to be Bandit level 2. So Bandit 2 at Bandit Labs. So you just need to modify. You can use the home and the end keys on your keyboard to go from the to the beginning of the line and the end of the line. And then you can edit this number. Make sure it's Bandit 2, and then hit enter. And then it's going to ask you for the password. So for the password, you just need to do Control. If you have copied the password, Control Shift C. You can paste in the password. Control Shift V. You will not see anything, but that's fine. Just hit enter. And then you're logged into Bandit level 2. Okay? So if you're logged into Bandit level 2, please type I'm in chat. I'm in. Just like hackers do. All right, so so the people who are not, the people who are having problems inside of JS Linux, and let me get out of here. So inside of JS Linux, this is a Linux console. So if you wanted to, you could try reading the different files here. So you can read cat readme.txt, and you're going to be able to read that. You can also do ls to see what's inside the directory. And but we'll to the people who are having problems, we're going to come back to you in just a bit. Mandiva Singh asks, what is Hacker Frogs? Hacker Frogs is a program for teaching cybersecurity skills. So okay, so we're at Bandit 2. So to the people who are at Bandit 2, you can type ls to see what's inside this directory. And it looks like there's a file called spaces in this file name. And somebody says, ls doesn't work for me. ls doesn't work for me. Well, I'm not sure why that would be. Somebody else says, I'm in, it takes a while to get the password in because I have to manually type it in. You don't need to manually type it in. You can copy it. You can copy it and paste it. But let's work through Bandit level 2 before. But let's work through Bandit level 2 right now. So we see there's a file called spaces in this file name inside of this directory here. So if you were to use the cat command, maybe they're not in the Linux environment. Okay, so to the person who is not using ls, are you using a Windows computer by any chance? If you're using a Windows computer and you're not inside of the Bandit game, then ls is not going to work. Okay, so if you were to cat spaces in this file name, that's not going to work, because what Linux is trying to do is it's trying to interpret each one of these words as a different file. So cat spaces in this file name is going to try to cat the word spaces and then in and then this and then file name. It's not going to see it as one command. And what we would need to do in order to solve this is we need to put the entire thing inside of quotes. So if we were to cat and then inside of some single quotes or some double quotes, we're to put spaces in this file name, then this is going to work. So cat spaces in this file name. Now we can read the password. Another thing we can do is that we can do another method of trying to read the file, and we would use cat and then spaces, and then before the space we need to tell Linux that this is a special. This is not a special character. This is just a part of the name, and we would do that by putting in a backspace and then a space, a backslash and then a space. What is the Bandit 2 password? The Bandit 2 password is this right here. So I'm going to copy this and I'm going to put it in the chat. Okay. So, sorry, where was I? Okay, so you can do a backslash and then a space, and then you can do in and then backslash and then a space, and then you can type this and then backslash and then a space and the name, file name. So Mr. Singh says, can I follow along as a random YouTube viewer? I came across your stream randomly. Yeah, you can follow along if you want to. Yep, the more the merrier. Okay, so cat spaces backslash space in backslash space this backslash space file name. And then if you do that, then you're going to get the same result. But the easier way to do it is to just put quotes around the entire name. All right. So everybody, we're finished. So yes, Mr. Singh says you're escaping the spaces. This is escaping the spaces in this case. What is your vlogin username? Vlogin username. I'm not sure what that refers to. All right, so we exit. So everybody, if you manage to finish Bandit level 2, please type Bandit 22, Bandit 22 in chat. All right, I see a bunch of you have finished it. That's great. Okay, so we're going to finish off our lesson by doing. We're going to finish off our lesson by doing Bandit level 3. And Bandit level 3, we're going to log in the same way that we do Bandit level 2. Remember that inside of your terminal, you can get the history. You can get the history by hitting the up and down arrow keys. So hit the up and down arrow key, and you're going to be able to get the last command. So edit the command so that somebody asks, is there a web page where I can check out and log in for the challenges? Okay, so I'm going to provide the link for the challenges, and I'm going to paste it into the YouTube chat. Okay, so we're going to do Bandit level 3, so SSH Bandit 3 at banditlabs.overthewire.org, and then VF login. I'm not sure, so we'll talk a little later after. So in a few minutes we'll finish out the class, and then we'll address the people who were having trouble logging in using SSH. Okay, so Bandit 3 password. Okay, so you can copy this, Control-Shift-C, and then you can paste in the password with Control-Shift-V, and then hit enter. And then we're logged in. Okay, so this is Bandit level 3. We're going to clear this, and then we're going to take a look at. So this is the in here directory. So there's a directory here, it's called in here, and we know it's a directory. I'm going to teach you something new. So another thing we can do to modify some commands is we can use flags. And the way you use, so flags are modifications on a command, and the most common flag for the ls command, which lists out the contents of the directory, is the L. So -L, and I know you all think that's kind of funny, but -L is going to output in a list form. So we see that we get some different output if we use the -L flag over here. And you see that's in here is a directory. We can tell it's a directory. Well, in my terminal, it's colored blue, but also you see that there's inside the list, there's a D over here, and D means directory. And what we can do is we can change our directory by using the cd command. The cd command means change directory, and you just need to use cd and then space, and then the directory you want to move into. So cd space in here. So just type cd space in here and then hit enter. And then we're going to, we see we've moved into the in here directory. We can see here that our prompt over here says in here. And if we type ls to see what's in the directory, we don't see anything. But we can use another flag on the ls command to see hidden files. So in Linux, you can hide files by putting a period at the start of the file. So a period, so any file that has a period before the name of the file is going to be hidden. And you can see hidden files using the -A flag. So if you do -A, you're going to be able to see hidden files in the directory. So ls space -A, and then there's a file in here called hiding from you. So ... hiding from you. So if we're, and you're also going to see this dot and this ... So the dot and the ... which is funny if you say it out loud, but these refer to the current directory. So the current directory in Linux is referred to as dot. And the file just above this directory is in Linux is referred to as ... So dot is the current directory, and ... is the directory just above this. But these are both hidden when we do ls. So in order to read this hidden file, we just need to know how to find it by using the -A instead of ls, and then we can just cat this out. So a lot of Linux people say cat something out, meaning to read the file. So ... hiding -from -u. And this is how we read this file. Okay. And now we can read this. So this is the password for Bandit level 4. So we're going to copy this, and then we're going to use this as the password for next time. But this is the end of what we're going to be doing for this session. We're going to be doing our next session on Wednesday, but before we finish off, we're going to take a look at what we learned in today's lesson. So let's review the Linux commands we learned in today's workshop. So everybody, if you managed to finish Bandit level 3, please type 333 Bandit in the chat. All right, I see some people responding. Great. Okay, great. Okay, so let's so before we finish off our lesson, let's take a look at our summary. Okay, so we took a look at the ls command. So the ls command lists the files and directories in the current directory. It can be used with the L argument to output in a list format, and it can be used with the -A argument to include hidden files and directories in the output. These two arguments can be combined to produce both outputs, for example, LA. So this is very common when we do Linux. So when we do Linux ls, I usually just put LA on the top of that, and then we're able to see the hidden files, and we're also able to see in the list format. Okay. So the cat command. The cat command reads the contents of a file. The name of the file to be read must be supplied as an argument to the command. For example, cat example.txt. We've got our cat right here. Why is it cat? It stands for the word concatenate. Thank you for following, Michael Booble. You are now a hacker frog. And the contents of the example.txt is read using the cat command. So why is it cat? It's just cat. Cat means read in Linux. That's all you need to know. Let's see, echo command, we didn't do any of this. We did cd command. So the cd command changes the current directory to the one specified. The new directory must be supplied as an argument to the command. All you need to know is you do cd and then the name of the directory you want to move into. For example, cd downloads. Okay, we did do this. Okay, so in the next Hacker Frogs After School Linux OS workshop, we're going to continue learning Linux commands using the Bandit CTF. So if anybody has any questions about any of the commands that we used in today's workshop, go ahead and ask. Somebody says that they subbed. Thank you very much for subbing. I'm happy to see it. Okay, but this is the end of today's workshop. If you have any questions about anything that we did today, go ahead and ask in the chat. But at this point in time, we're going to finish off the session. To anybody, so anybody who's finished, you can go ahead and leave the call. To anybody who had problems. To anybody who had problems with solving the challenges, please let me know in the chat, and then we'll try to solve. We're going to be back. We're going to be back on Wednesday, so please be back here at the same time on Wednesday, and then we're going to be continuing our Linux journey. Do I just close out the tab? Do I just close out the tab? You can close out. So if you're using Zoom from a web page, you can just close out the tab on the web page. Okay, to the people who had problems, we're going to address you directly, and I'm going to stop my live stream, so you don't have to worry about your stuff being saved to the internet. So I'm going to end my stream.